When it comes to growing your own fruit and veggies at home, you might find that birds and insects also have their eyes on your garden. Linda shares some tips and tricks to ensure your prized produce stays protected until it gets harvested.
After spending all those months waiting for your organic vegetable garden to get to a point of harvest, we all come across a time where we need to protect our precious vegetables from mice, rats, dogs, birds, and a lot of pests that also want to have a taste. So we're going to show you today how to institute some practical organic ways to do that. You might ask why we have these organza bags hanging over our tomatoes. Well, we've found that they are the best protection against birds. Often a problem with tomatoes are mouse birds. You can also use these organza bags over your peaches, apricots, plums, some of your fruit. They are so handy and easy to use. We particularly concentrate on the gold, yellow, silver or white bags. I wouldn't recommend that you go with the colors. What we have here is what I call teenage tomatoes. They're just getting to that stage where they're going to start ripening and fattening up. So what you do at this stage, not when they're smaller, you gently put the bag over the bunch of tomatoes. Make sure the bag is big enough so that it gives them ample space to grow, fatten up and ripen. You'll find that yellow or white encourages the ripening, so that's why we stick to those colors. Gently tug on the drawstrings on the side. Do not make it so tight that it inhibits what I would say the oxygen flow into the actual tomatoes. There you have it. Snug and tight, and you leave them just like that. What we have here is plastic bottles where we have cut off the top and the bottom, and we use this as a cloche. Basically, what you use a cloche for is to protect your baby seedlings from inclement weather. So when they're too small and need to get accustomed to the harsh light, or even in the case of hail, etc. in summer, you can put your cloche over your seedling. Make sure you push it into the ground so it's at least 2 centimeters in the ground. And the reason for that is that it protects the seedling from cutworm, which lives in the top 1 centimeter of the ground. So the cutworm won't be able to get to the little seedling and cut it off at the base. Another example of a cloche is where we leave the top part of the bottle on. We use this specifically in winter, and the protection that this offers is from frost, which is very, very useful. In both cases, it's not a good idea to leave your cloches on for very long. In summer, you should take the cloche off as soon as the plant reaches about 10 to 15 centimeters. The reason for that is that if you leave the cloche on, it creates a very moist and humid environment, actually weakening the plant. If you leave it for too long, you'll notice that bacteria can start forming and it can create a problem. In winter, you can certainly leave the cloche on for longer, simply because everything slows down in winter and the growth rate will be much slower. So you can leave the cloche on until you can see that the plant is healthy and can maintain itself. One of the biggest problems in a summer garden really is birds. There's also mice and dogs, and what we find to be really an excellent form of protection, physical protection from birds, is this very simple hoop house which we've made. You can see that I've placed the 3 hoops in already. This is just PVC piping, bird netting which you can get from any good garden center. I've got iron rods in the ground where I've placed the PVC pipe over it. The truth is that even though there are many different things like CDs which they say work to distract the birds, I find that any physical barrier protecting your strawberries, your lettuce, your beetroot, anything really works the best when using bird netting over a simple hoop house. Remember that the hoop house doesn't need to be tall. This is a perfect size. You also have to be able to take the netting off so you can weed and harvest, especially harvest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you the last bit of how we did this hoop house so that you can go and do it at home. now that we've shown you a few really good methods how to keep critters at bay, birds, etc., away from your precious vegetables, there are a few more things that we can teach you. One of them is a slug trap. We all have problems with snails. Slug traps are honestly the best way to get rid of slugs. There are a lot of different schools of thoughts out there, but I really do believe that this one works the best. As you can see here, I've already got a complete slug trap. It's just an old yogurt container. I have marked out the windows over here to show you where you would need to cut. Make sure that the bottoms of these windows are all in line. So let me show you what you have to do. You open the lid once you've cut out the windows, the relevant windows, and you take your beer. Beer really is the best thing that works. And you pour 3 centimeters of beer into the bottom of the slug trap. There you go. And you secure the lid back onto the beer trap. You then dig a hole into the garden and you bury your slug trap right onto the bottom levels of these windows. What happens is that the snails are attracted to the smell of the beer. So they walk along and fall through the holes, and unfortunately they do drown. It is a good idea to check these periodically, because once they get too full of slugs, you find that whoever falls in just climbs back out. But you can then pour this into your compost pile and it will add a lot of nutrition. So one of the worst pests you can have, there are actually 2 in your vegetable garden, is aphids and whitefly, commonly known as soft-bodied insects. Truth is that you can wipe your aphids off, but it will take a long time. I always say companion plant as much as you can, because variability in an organic vegetable garden creates stability. You will always get pests, provided there's no infestation. You don't have to worry. Should there be an infestation, here's a quick and easy way to get rid of them. What we have here, everything from the garden, some gorgeous fresh lavender, quite pungent and lovely. Here we have Tulbachia, prolific grower, excellent companion, also pungent, and a couple of chilies. What you do is take a 5-liter bucket, chop a whole lot of Tulbachia into this bucket. I would say that you need to chop up to about 3/4 of the bucket. Put lavender, equal amounts of lavender and Tulbachia. Then take 2 or 3 chilies, chop them up, throw them in the bucket, pour boiling water over it right to the top. Let it stand overnight. The next day, strain the liquid out, put it in a spritzer bottle, and when you're going to spray it onto the infestation, remember, always try first spray on the underside of the leaf, see that there's no immediate damage to the plant. Never spray in full sun. Always try and spray late afternoon when your beneficial insects are inactive, so you don't in fact cause them any harm or damage.